Welcome to Introduction to Stata section. Before you start this section, you will need to install a licensed version of Stata, which is freely available from Warwick website. Here's the link. If you want to practice along with me, you will also need to download the supplementary dataset, which you can get from this second link here. Then as soon as you download this file, then you can sort of extract them onto desktop or any folder of your choice. So the main objective of this section is to just introduce you briefly to Stata, and I will assume little or no knowledge of Stata. So if you are very familiar with Stata, you can skip this section completely and move on to the binary analysis section. So why do we want to use Stata for meta-analysis? It's been very used in a variety of disciplines: medicine, social medicine, geology, all other fields. Then it's user-friendly, then there are huge resources online to learn, and most importantly, it's free available for Warwick staff and students. So this is briefly the Stata interface. So you have command window where you type in your commands. Then as soon as you type in command, it's the result of your analysis, or your command will be shown in the result window. Then this review panel will keep all your command. Then it has the list of all your variables. Then you can open a do file editor to keep all your do file. Then if you generate a figure, it's going to be shown in the graph window. Again, this is another view of Stata. It's just one page view of introduction to Stata. So in this command section, you can sort of type in different commands: look for, describe, summarize, tabulate. Then you review your command here. You can double click it or use page up to go to the previous command. Then you can open the do file from this button. Then you can browse or edit your data using the data editor here. And these are the list of your variables. Again, I would like to emphasize the importance of having a do file to keep all your command. It sort of encourages reproducibility of your studies. So if you change your data, maybe along the line in your meta-analysis, you found additional study that you need to include. So instead of typing out the command one by one again, you just open your do file and run analysis after loading the updated data set. So you can get help for Stata for a particular command. If you need more information about it, just type help, meta, help, describe, depending on the command that you want to learn. And the Stata syntax is you type in the command, then the variable or the option you want. Then you can comment just to keep note of what you are doing. You can use asterisk to comment or double front arrow. If you want to break command into multiple lines, you can use triple forward arrows. So let's get started. So you need to open Stata, then type in, open the do file editor. So we need to load the data set. So first of all, you use this CD, it means change directory. Then you can change to where the data is. Then for this introduction, we are going to be using COVID dataset. So this is the standard Stata format, so you just use the name of the data set. Then clear, it means just to clear out the existing one. So if you make changes to your data set, then you can just save it so that you give it a new name, save new COVID data, replace it. So if your data is not in Stata format, you can import them from CSV, that's comma separated file, or Excel file using these two commands. So you just import the military file, now import Excel. So these are the frequently used commands in Stata set. Describe, to describe your variables, to summarize, to get the mean, standard deviation, mean, minimum and maximum. Then the code book, to look at how the variable is coded. Then you can list the data set, you can tabulate or browse. So we are going to touch on some of these variables. So this is to summarize our COVID data set. So it shows that we have a variable called total cases. There's about 16,168 observations. The mean total cases is 12,000, and it's ranging from 0 to 300,000. Then we have the number of cases, total deaths. Then you can look at the code book, how this variable we are coded. So it shows that this total case is a numeric, is a number one, and this is the range. Then the location, that's the location of the cities where the cases we are reported, is a string variable. So then you can tabulate to look at the frequency of location. So it shows that we have 121 data points for Afghanistan, 62 for Albania, 126 for Algeria. Then Bahamas, we have 53 data points. So let's do some basic graphic commands. So let's look at the histology to look at the distribution of number of new tests performed per 1,000 population for all the observations. So this shows the distribution of the number of tests per 1,000. So we can check whether this is normally distributed, but as you can see from here, it is highly skewed. So if you had command normal to hit to just read whether it's a normal curve, as you can see, this data is highly skewed. So most of the country, they did not do mock tests. Only a few countries performed so much number of tests. Then this is another command. If you want to do analysis, you want to transform this variable. So if you use square roots, then you're going to sort of get it sort of normally distributed if you take square root of the number of tests. Then if you want to look at the scatter plot, you want to look at the correlation between number of cases and number of deaths. As expected, there is a perfect linear correlation between the number of cases and number of deaths. So as the number of cases increases, the number of deaths increased. This is just introduction to Stata. We are not trying to make an inference from all this analysis, just to show what you can do with Stata just before we start the main meta-analysis section. So this is correlation matrix if you are interested in more than two correlation, two variables, so number of cases, number of deaths, number of tests. Again, you can work on a subset of your data set. So if you have greater than, less than, so these are the common operator that you can use to stratify your analysis or data set. So let's practice that. So let's assume that we want to create a variable, small cases. So we want to categorize the number of locations into two. Those that have reported less than 1,000 cases compared to those that reported more than 1,000. So we just use gen, which shorthand method for generate. So we have small cases is equals to new cases if it's less than 1,000. So it's going to create a new variable called small cases 1 or 0. If it is less than 1,000, that's 1. So we have 1,000, it's like 15,360 data points reported less than 1,000, and only 802 reported more than 1,000 cases per day. So we have almost 800 data points where they reported more than 1,000 cases per day. Then you can recode them into category variable. Let's say you want one variable, if it's less than 1,000, between 1,000 and 10,000, then more than 10,000. So you have very small number of cases, small number of cases, very high number of cases. So you just use recode and generate for this, and this is the distribution of this new variable. So as a practice, just to test whether you sort of understand this, or you can sort of do this exercise to do the same recoding for deaths, number of deaths, and so I have created one variable just to see the number of data points that reported more than 1,000 deaths per day. Then you have more categorical variable too, so you can try this exercise. Just to wrap up, I will give you a link to some good Stata cheat sheet that you can use to practice or to learn more about Stata. So this is for basic data processing, data transformation, creating data visualization, then customizing your data visualizations, and data analysis. And these are additional resources that you can use to learn data sets. Thank you, and see you in the next section.